So after you saw Telly shoot Pluck, you saw Telly, him and George came straight to the emergency room to see if Pluck, I guess, died or whatever. Did you know how long Pluck was in the hospital for? For months. Because when he was in there, he slid into a coma or whatever, so, and then we went up there like a few times to see whatever, but his head was like he had a lot of fluid in his body and stuff. Other than that, when we was around there, like, we'll come around there because she worked at the hospital, she like, Pluck looked like he gonna be alright, but he's still swole. I think it took like a month or something, or a month or two for him to come out of the coma or whatever. But right after that, I went to prison for attempt murder. Okay, before you went to prison, was there, I think this is probably afterwards when you got out of prison, are you aware of a time when Pluck got shot again? Yeah, 2005, I want to say March. I got out in March. You got out in March? Yeah, March 2005 I came home because I went to trial or whatever. I came home and got acquittal. So we was on Jackson Street, Pluck, Darnell, Stewart, and Doodle Robinson in a car. The same Maxima and everything. He come out and I'm like, Mike, what's up? He like, you got a gun? I'm like, no. Where were you? I was on Jackson and Daniel Street, like between Aretha Castle Haley, well, Dryad Street and Daniel Street on Jackson. So they pulled up around there asking did I have a gun. I'm like, no, what's up? Who pulled up? Pluck, Darnell, Stewart, and Rodney. Pluck was driving though. And they pulled up asking me for a gun and shit. I'm like, what's up? He like, man, I just got into it with Pee Wee down there on Josephine and LaSalle. Who was telling you they just got into it with Pee Wee? Darnell Stewart. You knew who Pee Wee was? Yeah, I know Pee Wee. He grew up with my brother. He from Josephine Street. Okay. And so he was telling you he just got into it? Like, he would ask me for a gun, saying he just got into it with P-Dub down there on Josephine and LaSalle. I'm like, no, I ain't got no handgun. Then when he saw Rock, he dead now, but he used to be out there with me. So he went and asked Rock. But while he was talking to Rock, George came out the house. George stayed right there on Jackson and Daniel Street. He like, come here. I'm like, what's up? He like, man, what's happening with my boy? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, man, they looking for a gun. Told me they just got into it with P-Dub. You know what I'm saying? He like, yeah. He like, who looking for a gun? I'm like, Dirty and them. He like, man, what's up, man? Why you don't handle that? I'm like, what you mean handle that? He like, don't worry about it. He said, what does that mean? Like, kill him, shoot him up or whatever. He like, man, stop them little boys from coming from around here. Told me stop coming from around there. So he was talking and he got on the phone and he's like, man, the little boys around here looking for a gun right now. Do you know who he was on the phone with? No. Okay. But he was telling somebody about them? Talking about Dirty and Pluck was right there on Jackson Street looking for a gun. Do you know what eventually happened to them? I want to say 1 hour, 2 hours, but I know from later on that day, we heard Pluck, Dirty, and Doodoo got shot up on Washington and LaSalle by the red light. But it was like P-Dub and Rail supposedly did it. Rail, that's one of my partners or whatever. Okay, Rail that's P-Dub's nephew. Do you know Rail's name? Jarrell Jackson. What was P-Dub's name? Terrell Jackson. So you heard that they did it? Yeah, because he went to jail for it and everything. He said that was when they got into it with him, like P-Dub and them supposed to have caught the 9 on Washington and LaSalle, shot the car up. Okay, Rail today is where? Dead. Now, after 2006, when you were in jail, right, was there a time when you ran into Telly Hankton in jail? Yeah, 2 times. First time he came to prison, he was wanted, well, he came to jail for it. He was wanted on Darnell Stewart's murder. So he had bonded out or whatever, so he came to jail. We was in Orleans Parish Prison, the old parish prison. And he came in there, and then he went home again on bond for that murder. And he came back on another murder, and we was in HOD the second time. Okay. The second time, did you have an opportunity to speak with Telly? Yeah. Well, twice. One time, like, you know, like the way the jail is so old, One time when our shower blocked up, they let us go over there to the shower. And then when his shower was blocked up, they brought him on our side to take a shower. When you say the shower, you mean the shower on the shower in the prison on the floor. It's on the same floor, the 8th floor. Okay. And that second time when Telly was brought over to the showers near where you were being held, did you speak to him? Yeah, he came in the shower. It's like right after I got convicted. So when he came over there, it was just like October. The only reason why I remember, because I had just got transferred to HOD 8th floor. Okay. In August, after I had got found guilty. That's like a maximum security floor. So I went over there. So you guys were talking. You said you had been convicted. And when you were talking, did Telly ever ask you to do something for him? When we was in the shower after I was telling him I got convicted and like, you know, it's down bad, he was like, man, I gotta go to trial too, man. But did he have a trial that was coming up? Yeah, he had an upcoming trial, but he was telling me that he had a witness coming to court on him. And it was, I'm sorry, Telly's trial that was coming up was for what? For the Darnell Stewart murder. Okay. And he was telling you what? He was saying he got a witness coming to court, and he seen how I got convicted off a witness or whatever. And he was like, he was scared that, you know, he got a witness coming because he might get found guilty or whatever. So in that conversation, he told you that he knew he had a witness coming forward against him? Yes. Okay. And what did he ask you to do? Well, probably about 2 weeks before that, I had told him I had a cell phone or whatever. And I went over there. He gave me some of the commissary stuff because I don't really be getting money or whatever. So he gave me some commissary, and I told him I had a phone and all this stuff on the side of HOD. You're talking about the first time you spoke to him? Yeah, the first time I spoke to him, yeah. So when we was in the shower, he asked me did I be talking to Dump, because Dump lived with my auntie. My cousin got a baby for him. He and my auntie, they lived in the same house. So your cousin has a baby with Dump? With Derek Smothers. Okay, and Dump is good friends with Telly? Yeah, that's his homeboy. Alright. So he asked me did I be talking to Dump, and I said nah. He was telling me Dump be writing letters and stuff. He said he asked me to do a favor and call Dump and relay the message or whatever. Okay, so if I can just clear something up. You had a cell phone? Yes, ma'am. Are inmates allowed to have cell phones in jail? No. Okay. Do a lot of inmates have cell phones in jail? In Orleans Parish Prison they do. Okay. Where would you keep the cell phone? They got a toilet. Then you have like a little pipe for the drain thing. And we used to unscrew it either like with a little piece of paper clip, or we had like a little Allen key thing where we could unscrew it, sit the phone in there, screw it back up or whatever whenever you're using it. You ain't using it, you hide it in case sometimes the COs come down there and shake down. So when you had it in there, you got it screwed up. It don't look like anything been tampered with or whatever. Okay, and when Telly asked you to relay a message to Dump, what was the message he wanted you to relay? He told me to call Dump and tell Dump to call Squirt and tell him to go with the W. Okay, and who is Squirt? Squirt, Thomas Hankton. That's Telly Hankton's cousin. Okay, and he told you to pass on a message to Dump? Told me to tell Dump to tell Squirt third, said, you know, Telly said tell Dump, tell Squirt, he said go on to the W. And what does a go on the W mean? What I'm understanding, kill a witness, like go and get rid of him. Okay, and did you in fact do that? Yes, ma'am. Did Telly offer you really anything in exchange for passing on that message? He just said he was going to help me with my appellate attorney because I just got a death sentence when I got found guilty. Okay. So, he's telling me whenever I get out, man, I'm going to make sure I get you an appellate lawyer or whatever. And I'm going to go through Dump because Dump in the family. And he's saying he doesn't want to deal with none of the women in my family, like giving them no money or nothing. So he'll go with Dump because him and Dump are cool with him. Dump in my family. So he gonna make sure Dump handle my business or whatever need to be done. So if you were to help Telly out of his situation, he would help you out of your situation. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Then there came a point in time later on when you were transferred to federal custody, right? Yes, ma'am. Is this a good place for a break for about 10 or 15 minutes? Okay, Your Honor. Is that all right? Sure. We will take about a 15-minute recess. Let you all stretch a little bit. Please remain seated. Court is now in session. Thank you, Your Honor. So, Michael, I think I left off when you came over into federal custody. In 2012, was there a time when you were in federal custody and you saw Walter Porter? Yes, ma'am. Judge, is the microphone on? Oh, sorry. Did you know Walter Porter before? I've seen him before, but as far as knowing him, as in hanging with him, I never hung with him, nothing like that. Okay. Whereabouts were you guys when you saw him? At a park in Central City. I mean, when you were in federal custody. In federal custody, we was on the docks. It was a court building, the holding tanks. Okay. You were with the marshals? Yes, ma'am. All right. Who else was on the docks with you, if you remember? Even though there are other guys being in the holding tank, but I don't even know their names or nothing. I don't know who they was. Okay. Did you end up having a conversation with Walter Porter? Yes. What were you all talking about? Well, when I seen him, he knew me from my situation of coming to jail in my case or whatever, and I seen him. I'm like, what's up? Whatever. He telling me he know a few people on Josephine Street who I'm cool with, whatever. He was raised up in that area or whatever. And I'm like, hey man, word on the street is, man, you supposed to have killed Skunk. Kenny Robinson is his real name. His nickname is what? Skunk. Okay. So you had heard this and were asking him about it? Yeah. I asked him man, word on the street, you supposed to have killed Skunk. He yeah man. He's Slim's supposed to have sent something on him or whatever. And I'm I don't think I really know Slim as Slim or whatever. He man, him and the dude be behind some dope or whatever, and he had took a hit on Slim. Okay. And so if you can break that down a little bit, and what he was saying to you was an individual by the name of Slim. Yeah, somebody. Slim paying him to kill Kenny Robinson. Okay. And he, in fact, told you about that? Yeah. I asked him and he was yeah. Why would you have asked him about that shooting or that killing? Because word on the street, well, I had knew Kenny from our neighborhood and stuff like that, and word on the street was, but I knew by the situation between the dude really named Gmo or whatever as Kenny. Okay. And Skunk was having an issue possibly with Gmo? Yes. Okay. But Walter Porter gave the name of who that paid him? Slim. Did he tell you any details about how much money he got paid? No, he never said none of that. Did you know where Kenny Robinson got killed? Yeah. Where? He got killed on Willow and First Street. Okay. And were you in jail? Yeah, I was in jail when it happened. Like I say, I heard about it, and I just asked him when I seen him. Okay. I believe those are all the questions I have for Mr. Anderson, Your Honor. It's my understanding that we are going to allow defense counsel to cross-examine him after lunch? Yes. So if he could be excused for now, and we will call other witnesses.